Thank you for your patience while we kept you in the lobby there before it hit 3 o'clock. There's still people arriving. So, Brian, if I can leave you as my support guide to just welcome people into the webinar and we'll get started. Just to let you know, we will be recording this presentation, so I'll share it with you all afterwards as well, in case you need to dip off to take a call or anything like that. You're very welcome. My name's Susie McAway and I'm Communications Manager here at Business in the Community Northern Ireland, and we're the team that leads on the Responsible Business Awards in Northern Ireland. I'm really pleased that you're here because it means that you already know about the Responsible Business Awards, and the likelihood is that you're considering entering hopefully one or more of our 12 categories this year. I'm aware that we're about a month until the deadline date of the entries, and you might have actually started already. But if you haven't, and even if you have, hopefully you'll get some nuggets of helpful information within this webinar that can help you make a really great entry. So today, what we'll be covering is just going to give you a quick overview about the awards. I am going to chat about the 12 categories just briefly. I'll not go into all of them in detail, but I will tell you about the new ones this year and some of the updates. I'll tell you how to enter using the Judgify platform. I've got top tips, and we'll hear from some of the judges of this year, people who've actually judged in previous years, to tell you exactly the type of things that they're looking for in a really great entry. I'm going to tell you how the judging process works so you know what happens after you submit your entry. Key dates, things you need to put in your diary. I'll tell you briefly about our gala event that's happening on the 7th of September, and there will be time for questions at the end. What I'll ask you to do is just hold those until later. Whenever I ask you to drop them into the chat, it's just my little chat window is closed and I won't be able to see them as I go through the presentation. So I'm happy to take any questions then. Okay, so in 2023, this is the 18th year of our Responsible Business Awards that recognise businesses that go beyond profit to be a force for good in society. So it sounds like you're a superhero, and you're all superheroes to us. Obviously, I mean, the reason to enter an award, everybody loves to win an award, but with our Responsible Business Awards, they're very prestigious. It's a really fabulous opportunity to celebrate your team, celebrate the work that your organisation has done, and also recognise colleagues for all that they've done throughout the year. Fabulous way to enhance the reputation of your organisation as a responsible business, and that helps in any number of ways. And also one of the main reasons that we do this is also it's to inspire others into action too. We want to show what organisations across Northern Ireland are doing so that others can follow suit, and it shows your aspiration to become a more responsible business. So even being on this call, entering the awards, and if you're chosen to be a finalist, it shows that you really are taking action on responsible business. So if you're committed to building a better workforce or contributing to a sustainable future or supporting your local communities, then there will be a category for you to enter. Just going to take a wee brief moment to say thank you to our category sponsors and our event partners for their leadership and support. These are organisations that truly are leaders and champions in responsible business, and we're delighted that they're on board in 2023. And genuinely, we wouldn't be able to do the awards without them. The whole process, right from this initial stage of accepting all your entries to the actual awards event itself. I do want to say a particular thank you to Henry Brothers, who has joined us for the second year running as our key sponsor of the awards. Okay, so on to categories. As I said, we've got 12 in total. They're all free to enter completely, and that's for all sectors and organisations of all sizes. Most organisations can enter into any of the categories, but there are two exceptions on that. Our top award of the year is NI Responsible Company of the Year, and that one is only for organisations who are private companies. They have to be members of business in the community, and they have to achieve CORE, which is our standard for responsible business. So there are a few caveats for that top award. The second category that has a few exceptions, it's the one to watch category, and that is for members who've joined business in the community since January 2021. The rest of them are fair game, so you can enter any of those. Making an entry, as I said, is completely free of charge. You don't need to be a member of business in the community to enter those other 10 categories. You can enter into as many categories as you like. And I might say this a few times throughout the presentation, but if you've got an entry that you want to put in, it might be relevant in more than one category. So you can enter the same project or initiative or activity across as many relevant categories as you like. So there's all our categories. You can find them online, and I'll show you the link to access those to have a better look at all the different categories and the descriptions further in the presentation. But a couple of updates to flag with you. Three new categories this year. We've got the Employer of Choice Award. It's all about retention and development of your staff. So in that, we're looking for the organisation that best demonstrates that it's creating a supportive and an inspiring culture for employees, one that takes a really agile, flexible and strategic approach to employee retention and development. For the Responsible Business Ambassador Awards, another one of our new categories, it's actually a nomination category, and that's open to individuals working at all levels within your organization, and it's for a person who has made a significant contribution to responsible business, both within their organization and it could be in the wider business community as well. And we're looking for people who have made a positive impact on people, planet, and the places where they operate. So have a think. And if there's any colleagues that you think you might be able to put forward for that nomination category. The third new category is the Collaborative Action Award. And for this category, we want to hear from organisations who have identified a social or an environmental need, and they've joined forces with others to address this. So there's a partnership and an inspiration element to this one. We are particularly interested in learning about how those organisations have collaborated together, how they're a good fit for each other, and how they've complemented each other in the work that they're doing to make a greater impact in the whatever issue it is that's being addressed. So you could choose what it could be: an environmental issue, it could be a societal issue, it could be a community issue. It doesn't have to be all those things. You could pick one project and talk about that. So it's demonstrating how your collaboration has been effective within a partnership or throughout your value chain. The last one on that list isn't actually, it's not a completely new category, but it is a bit of an update. The Responsible Technology Innovation Award. In 2022, this was our digital award, but we've changed the criteria a little to widen the scope. So we're looking for an organisation that best demonstrates its use of innovative technology to make a positive impact. And one of the major changes of this is that we've allowed entrants to be a project that's been on either a commercial or a pro bono basis. So even if you've been financially compensated for that project or that innovation, whatever it is, you can still enter this category, which wasn't the case in 2022. So that's the four kind of updates and changes there in 2023. Okay, as I said, more information online. If you go to our website on the homepage, there will be a link, or you can go directly there at bitcni.org.uk/awards. You'll see all the categories listed and are listed, and a brief descriptors there on the, you can see on the right hand side there, there's just kind of short description under each of the categories. On the left-hand side, that image, there's a bubble circle in the middle that says about awards, process, and criteria. It kind of complements this webinar, and it gives you a bit of a run through of what happens when you make your entry, what happens with the judging process, and then you can go in and see all of the criteria, all of the scoring, all of the marks for each of the different categories within that section of the website before you go on to the platform where you actually make your entry. So it's a really comprehensive overview of the categories, the questions, how they're scored. There's hints and tips in there about what types of things you should be including in your answer. We've also linked you through to the case studies of the winners from 2022, in case that's a useful tool for you to look back and see what type of things the winners were including in their entries last year. Across most categories, they're going to ask you questions on leadership, on strategy, obviously the activities that you've undertaken, processes, project management, how you've engaged the stakeholders that are involved in your entry as well. We're going to be asking about how you measure and evaluate. And we want to know what are not just the wider benefits, the environmental benefits, but what are the business benefits? What has your organization actually got from being a responsible business? The responsible business ambassador category, the one I was saying about, which is a nomination category, is slightly different. So where the other categories, they would more or less have the same format of entry. We're asking quite similar questions. That one is a bit different. It's a shorter category as it is a nomination category. So once you've decided on which category you want to enter or categories you want to enter, it's time to get started. Visit our website. There you'll find all the links to take you onto the Judgify platform, which I will show you a little bit about later in the presentation. Decide the category that you want to enter. Start in good time. Really, it's ASAP now if you haven't started already, just to give yourself ample time to gather the information that you need to really strengthen your entry. It is good to pull in different people, colleagues who will have different insights, different impacts, maybe different statistics that they can provide for your entry. So it's good to reach out to them to let them know that you're considering entering and maybe send them a link to the criteria that is in your category so that they can have a think about things that they might want to contribute to your entry. And bear in mind that we've got Easter in between now and the deadline on the 28th of April. So there might be a bit of time where colleagues are taking leave. When it comes to the time frame of your project or initiative for the 2023 awards, what we're looking for is projects or initiatives that have been submitted from February 2022 onwards. So consider that in your time frame. I've already said read through the criteria, talk to your colleagues, and get registered on the Judgify platform. It's a really intuitive platform to use. I don't think you'll have major issues with it. And that's where we ask you to make your entries, but it's where we send the judges to actually do the scoring as well. Once you're in that platform, we can see that you've registered and we can see when you've started an entry, and it means that we can just automatically send you reminders to let you know what the deadlines are, and we can just kind of keep in touch with each other and offer support from our side of things to help you with your entry if needed. So a couple of weeks ago, I recorded a short video just to give you a bit of a walkthrough of the platform. So I'm gonna show that to you now. This is a quick video to show you how to use the Judgify platform to make an entry for the Responsible Business Awards. If you've used the platform to enter the awards before, then the good news is that your password still works in 2023. If you haven't used it before, you'll need to sign up for an account. So that's just this button here, and it'll take you through to a page where you'll need to provide some basic information and set up a password that will allow you to log in and out. You'll note as well down here that there's a link to contact us if you've got any issues at any point with the awards, and we can help you with that. So to get started on your entry, you click Submit an Entry, log in, and it's going to bring you through to a landing page that gives you a summary of all of the entries that you've made. So if you haven't started an entry, you won't see anything on this page, but it does give you a few options. If you're sitting with draft entries, you can view what the entry looks like so far and read all the text. Edit will take you back into the entry to allow you to make some changes. You can clone and delete your entry. And this section down here is the entries that you've submitted. So if you want to get started, click on Submit a New Entry. It'll take you through to a page with a drop-down menu that will allow you to choose the category that you want to enter. Let's choose D&I. A little bit of information on the category. These first two boxes are completely unscored. That's for you to set the context of your entry. It allows the judges to understand your organisation a bit better and to set the context of what you're going to be talking about in further detail down as you complete the rest of the awards entry. Make a note of the section here where it tells you how many words you're allowed in each of the different sections. There are hints and tips of what you might like to include in each of the boxes underneath, and it'll tell you how many marks are available within each section as well. So there's a few boxes to complete across each of the categories. And at the very bottom, there's also space for you to upload 5 images. That can be JPEGs or PNGs. We can't accept video, unfortunately, and you can use those however you like to provide supporting evidence for your entry. If you feel like you've got your entry in good shape, you can submit. You can submit and add new, which will submit your entry as it stands, and then you can start on a new entry. Save as a draft if you want to come back to it later. And I'll also note that you need to press this button so it doesn't automatically save as you go along. You need to press the save button, and then cancel will take you back to the landing page. So hopefully that's helpful. It is a really intuitive platform, so hopefully you'll get to grips with it quickly. Thank you. So we're here to help at any time if you get stuck with anything. And as I described there, all the text and the bullet points, the scores that sit underneath, can all be found on our website before you actually log onto the Judgify platform to see it as well. So what you're all here for, some tips and inside information on how to make a great entry. Explain the obvious. Don't assume that the judges know what your company does. That's why the first unscored section gives you that space to describe what your company is for, what it provides, what it does. Try not to use company specific language or acronyms, just unless they're explained further in the entry or they're really, really necessary. It just makes it harder for the judges to get their head around the entry. Do emphasize the benefits to society, to the environment, and to your company. Give clear examples of the impact of your initiatives and how they can inspire others or could inspire or have inspired other organizations to be more responsible. As a responsible business network, we're all about collaborating and helping others. So we want to see how they can have a knock-on effect, a knock-on positive effect in the rest of Northern Ireland. You can upload 5 images, use them however like. Infographics are really good. You might want to include some nice pictures of, say, some beneficiaries if you've had like a volunteering project that you want to talk about as well. Something that just brings your entry to life a little bit, the written entry. As I mentioned, consider more than one category and make sure you provide a clear summary. One of the reasons for this is that the summary that you give at the start of your entry will be the case study that we'll use if you're a winner of the award. So we'll use that to develop your case study and put that on our website, which we share after the awards event. And do put your best into the written entry. I'll explain how the scoring works, but it's as a total of 100%. This written entry is actually worth 60% of the marks. So it's your space really to get as many of the marks as you can, because if you're a finalist, you'll go through to 2 other stages, which I'll explain, but it's the 60% and the 40%. So the BITC is completely neutral in the process. So we do some shortlisting internally, but after that we hand over to our judges. There's 3 judges for each category. So I have asked a couple of our judges just to give a bit of an insight into what they're looking from an awards entry. So I'm going to introduce you to Liza Kane, coaching, who's one of the judges in the Diversity and Inclusion Award. And we've got John Thompson from TransLink, who is our Product and Service Award judge, or one of them, one of 3.
Hi, I'm Lisa Kane from Lisa Kane Coaching. As a judge, what I'm looking for in an awards entry is that categories are clearly linked to the business strategy and that those goals are being sponsored by senior leadership. What makes a great award entry for me is whenever I can see that evidence of the goal is clearly being measured and that the impacts and outcomes are really making a difference in Northern Ireland across all stakeholder groups. I also am really impressed whenever I see visuals that actually support the overall entry. So that could be the business strategy, it could be a one-page plan which supports the areas of focus. Finally, I'd really encourage you to answer the questions as carefully as possible. So do your best not to duplicate responses. And with that said, best of luck with your submission.
Hello, I'm John Thompson, Head of Safety and Corporate Responsibility at TransLink. As a judge, what I like to see is clear demonstration of senior management involvement, good, clear policies and procedures and the arrangements on what you're actually putting into place. And I'm a metrics man too. I like to see good qualitative and quantitative measures on how what you've set out to achieve is actually achieving those goals. And I suppose one final tip, be clear with your language. Don't be worrying about fancy words. Keep it clear, keep it simple, and get your message across in nice, easy to read language. And last but not least, good luck with your submission.
Big thank you to John and Liza there. So that's 2 of our 33 external judges that we have who give their time to go through all of our entries. So just quickly then how the judge works. It's a really robust process. It's a 3-stage process. All entries are made and scored on the Judgify platform. Stage 1 is internal shortlisting by business and community staff. Then we will choose who will go to the finalist stages, and that's stages 2 and 3 there listed. No marks are allocated at that first stage. Marks are only given by our external judges, so it's completely neutral from the BITC side of things. If you are chosen as a finalist, it's a massive accolade. You'll be provided with a nice comms pack to share this achievement, and you'll be involved in both stages 2 and 3. So stages 2, you don't need to do anything at stage 2. You've already done it. That's your written submission. So it will be scored, and 60% of your marks are available, as I've mentioned. Stage 3 is the judging panel interviews. So these are in-person panel interviews. They have been online for the past couple of years, but we're going back to in-person. And it's an opportunity to really bring your entry to life in front of the judges who will have already read your entry. It's the same judges. Okay, so I'll talk to you about those judging panel interviews really briefly. Worth 40%. It's a 5-minute presentation on that. No slides, no flip charts, anything like that. You basically give a verbal summary of the written entry that you've given, and then the judges will understand your entry and they'll have noted some questions. They'll have 15 minutes of questions for you, and then it's a half an hour process. So there's a half an hour slot, 5 minutes of the verbal summary, 15 minutes for questions, and then you'll be asked to leave. And the judges have 10 minutes then just to make a few notes and to write notes and kind of discuss the submission that you've made or the presentation that you've made. At the end of the day, they'll all jointly decide on the winner based on the scores that they've noted from the written entry stage and from the presentation stage. We'll also mention that our judging panels are happening in the Innovation Factory in Belfast. It's on the Springfield Road. They're one of our in-kind sponsors this year, so it's going to be really nice to see all of our finalist organisations and our judges in person, and we'll have an opportunity to take some nice finalist photographs and everything to share with you at that stage. So yeah, that's a wee summary on that, what happens at the judging panel interview stages. Dates for your diaries then, don't worry about writing these down. They're all on the hub page on the website. Closing date's the important one. It's 5 p.m. on the 28th of April. We'll announce who our finalists are on the week commencing the 15th of May. So we'll email whoever made the entry about that will receive the email to say that they've been successful in making it through to the next stage of the judging process. Our judging panel interviews at the Innovation Factory are going to happen on the 20th and the 21st of June. That's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. We will let you know when your slot is. We don't know which days each categories are working yet until we know how many people have actually been made finalists in each of the different categories. And then last but not least, we'll culminate with the awards gala event in the ICC in Belfast on the 7th of September. That's from 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. Okay, so I've been talking at you a bit there. If you've got any questions, pop them into the chat and I'll have a wee look through them. We've got a couple of minutes to go through those. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit more about our gala event. It's always a really exciting day, or day for us, an evening for you guys to attend. We celebrate together, announce the winners. It's a night of entertainment and celebration, so I really do hope that you'll join us. It's always heartwarming. We have entertainers, we've got a keynote speaker. Great night of entertainment and celebration, and the rate for that is business and the community members get it slightly cheaper at £140 per seat per guest, and it's £150 plus VAT for non-BITC members. And you can get all the links to make your booking or your reservation on the BITC website. Okay, I'm going to pop up the chat box now to see if there's any questions in here. All seems to be quiet in there, which is a good sign. So hopefully I've covered everything that you need. If okay, I've got a question. Great. Okay, Linda, if invited to meet the panel, can more than one person attend the judging panel discussion? Good question, and something I meant to mention. Yes, 2 people can join the panel session, and it doesn't have to be the person that's made the entry. So somebody from, say, your comms team might have submitted the entry and might have received the email to say that you've gone through to the next stage, but that doesn't mean to say that that has to be the person that sits behind the panel. So you can invite whatever people you want for that, just a maximum of 2 people in that room. It's a good question. Thanks, Linda. Okay, well, if there's no more questions coming through, here is your call to action. Oh, another one through Diane. If a project started 5 years ago but finished after February 2022, does that make the criteria for the entry? Yes, tell us about what you've been doing within this last period as well, and about how you recognize the need for the work that you were doing back when it started. But we want to see what impact it's made since February, or since February 2022 as well. So that will meet the entry criteria. How formal is the panel interview? I mean, it's always nerve-wracking to be in an interview situation of any kind. Our judges are lovely though. They're just, I mean, it's three people who are just really enthusiastic about the subject matter that they're judging their categories on. So the BITC facilitator that sits in there and the three judges will do their very best to put you at ease. It really is an opportunity to just I mean, the presentation, it doesn't have to be through everything. The judges will know your entry inside and out, and you'll be asked different questions, or there'll be different marking criteria for that part of the interview. So it's more about a discussion and a conversation so they can get a little bit more information out of you to help you get the best score that you can. So the judges are there to help you get as many points as you can in that last section of it. So it'll be basically a room where there'll be like 3 chairs and a table, and you'll sit in front of the judges then. And so it might be nice, maybe if it's a little bit nerve-wracking, to have somebody else in there with you if you think they can maybe answer something that you wouldn't. So there's two sides of that coin. So don't worry about it's not suits, ties, anything like that. It is a bit more of a conversation than an actual like, job interview or something like that. Question, I hope that helps. Question from Kieran. Do we only need to give overview at this stage and provide evidence after submission? No, everything will need to be during that. All your evidence and the overview will need to have. The best thing is for it to be in that written stage because that's where you'll get most of the points. We want to see that whatever it is that you've done has actually made an impact, and that you're measuring that and that it's making an impact now, so that you meet the minimum criteria to go through to be shortlisted, basically. So we do want to see that there is evidence there that whatever it is that you're doing is working. So I hope that helps. Any other questions? Can you link external docs to keep the word count down? Unfortunately not. It's PNGs and JPEGs, so the links don't work. But if you can be clever about how, however you use your the 5 extra images that you have, what I would say is that the judges read a lot of entries, and it is better to keep this as visual as possible. So instead of using the 5 pages to have, more written text to submit your entry, we would recommend that it's more visual, maybe some nice infographics as well. So to stick to the word count within the entry, and you can be clever about how you use the images, but I would recommend that you try to keep it as visual as possible. Okay, anything else? Okay. Good. Right, well, I think you're well prepared there to make your entries. Just last to say a massive good luck for them. Give us a shout if there's anything we can do to help with. I'm conscious that some of you on the call aren't members of business in the community. Doesn't affect your entry in any way, but if you're interested in joining us in the Responsible Business Network, there's a join us button on the website. Just get in touch and somebody from our membership team will give you a shout and have a chat. But all the best with your entries, and I hope to see you all as finalists and at the event in September. Thank you.